The announcement today is that schools will resume at the start of this school year.
We are looking at it from a holistic public health approach. We are weighing it against the risk of transmission of the virus.
Get ready for school in the upcoming year.
A big announcement from Governor Ducey in just the last hour confirming Arizona schools will reopen this fall. There will be new restrictions and safety measures in place. We're going to find out more come Monday when the guidelines for all the districts are set to be released.
Nicole, the governor also announced...
Huge news, Jared.
Yeah, right. The governor also announced summer schools, day camps, youth sports. All of those things can resume immediately. Our political editor, Dennis Welch, was at the briefing and joins us live now. Dennis?
Yeah, certainly a big announcement from the governor today that Arizona's 1.1 million students are going to be heading back to the classroom by the fall. And although we're going to have to wait until Monday to get what all those guidelines will be, Governor Doug Ducey and his top health advisor, Dr. Kara Chris, did give us a bit of a preview. Now, Chris tells us that constant hand washing, social distancing will all be enforced. And there will likely be no school assemblies, or at the very least, limited assemblies and reduced lunchtime crowds. Now, the governor said he's making this announcement now to give parents time to plan ahead. Here's Dr. Chris explaining how schools will operate differently in the coming year.
So for schools, we know that we've had daycare or childcare in place where kids have been in a congregate setting. There are a lot of recommendations. When we met with the superintendents of the school, there are multiple plans that they are putting into place so that children or teachers that are at risk can either do distance or virtual learning, that there are opportunities to reduce class size, and that there are disinfecting protocols and a lot of safety things put into place. And this would be very flexible for both the families and the employees of the school district. The thing as a mom that I can't stress enough is that school supplies so much more than education. And so it's important to get these children back into school, back into a normal routine. Of course, it's going to be a new normal. Washing hands, hand sanitizer, physical distancing, not mixing at lunch, not doing big assemblies. And so they will be back to school, but it'll be a new normal.
Now, the governor also insisting now that we are still in phase 1 of the reopening. But when you talk about what phase 2 consists of, it consists of reopening schools, and if we've already seen reopening bars, we've already done that, even though the state still hasn't met those gating requirements to enter into phase 2 of the reopening. In Phoenix, Dennis Welch, Arizona's Family.
Dennis, what did the governor say about the spread of the virus itself? Any headlines there?
Well, the governor continues to insist that we are seeing improvements here, particularly when you start talking about testing here. Again, he starts looking at the percentage of the tests that come back positive for COVID-19 or the coronavirus. But it's also worth noting and stressing here that when you test more people, you're going to get a lower percentage of people who are testing positive. Remember, when this pandemic first started, the only people who were really getting tested were people who were sick or were showing symptoms. So the logic stands, those people, you're going to have a higher percentage of people test positive for COVID in that situation. Now that more and more people are getting tested who are showing no symptoms at all, of course, those percentages are going to be lower.
Right.
Jared?
Dennis, and the other thing is I heard you ask the governor to respond to the videos and the pictures that we have seen over the past week or two coming in from Old Town Scottsdale and from Mill Avenue in Tempe. Did he respond directly to those crowds? Any reaction?
Now, once again, he had no mention, no message for those particular businesses out there. He gets kind of defensive when you ask him about that. Instead, he thanked the rest of Arizonans who are practicing safe social distancing, following the guidelines and recommendations that are out there, but nothing specifically to address what happened in Old Town Scottsdale or earlier in Tempe, saying that the media is just focusing on a couple of bad actors when there's a lot more good actors out there through Arizona who should be praised.
Dennis Welch live for us tonight. Dennis, thanks for the recap.
We've also learned today that high school sports will be returning this fall. The Arizona Interscholastic Association released recommendations on how to keep your kids safe, and it's a long list, so here's a look at some of the highlights. They are suggesting athletes and coaches get their temperatures checked. No high fives, no fist bumps, no using water fountains, and they're suggesting staggering arrival times for practice, and athletes have to leave right afterwards. They're also suggesting keeping the locker rooms closed. As for Major League sports, that's all still up in the air. Well, the U.S.